Hello, my name is Courtland Jenkins, and I'm an associate producer and creative production intern at HOMTV in Meridian Township. Today, we're going to be speaking with the superintendent of Okemos Schools, John Hood, about the recognition Okemos High School has received for being ranked in the top 10 schools here in Michigan, as well as receiving recognition on a national level. My first question is, Okemos High School has been ranked in the top 10 schools in Michigan and ranked at a national level as well. How does that make you feel as superintendent of Okemos Schools?
So certainly as the superintendent of the Okemos schools, that makes me very, very proud of our school system. But it's not something I own as superintendent. There's a lot of hands in us achieving that honor. First, our students that are such hardworking, dedicated students, doing the best, pushing themselves hard academically. Certainly our very rigorous Okemos High School staff that has high expectations for students. But even broader than that, we have parents in a community that support education from, pre-K, the pre-K years all the way through 12th grade and beyond. A board of education that continues to hold high expectations for exceptional programming for our students. And, beyond high school staff, really our staff pre-K 12 who are working with kids and making sure they have the solid foundation they need academically and socially to succeed by the time they get to high school. So I'm proud of all those pieces, and they're all important parts of the puzzle that resulted in this recognition.
Being ranked as a top 10 school in the state of Michigan is a huge honor, and I've also heard that rankings are based on a criteria. Can you explain that to us?
One of the first things they look at is college readiness. So they look at how our students have scored on their SAT exams. And the College Board has a cutoff depending on how they scored on their math or their reading and writing portion of that exam that predicts whether or not students in their first year of college on a college entry course would score at a 75% or higher at a college level course. So they've done a correlation between how kids score when they're at high school on the SAT and then their success rate when they get to college. So by saying we have a high rate of college readiness, that means our students have a 75% chance or greater of getting a C or higher on a college entry course. So that's one chunk. The second chunk they look at is our graduation rate. And the graduation rate in Okemos High School has been in the mid to upper 90s for years. I think we're at 95 to between 95 and 97%, depending on the year. So not only kids are in our system, but they're finishing in our system, which they look at as well. And then they look at the reading and math proficiency of our students. Again, how they're doing on those sub-score tests on SAT. And certainly we monitor even way back to MSTEP and our progress monitoring for kids on other measures, so we can, if they're falling behind, catch them up. And if they already know what we're going to teach them, how are we going to extend it for them?
Would you or Okemos High School have done anything special for all the staff and teachers and students had there not been a national crisis going on?
Been on this list in the past, we're proud to say, and had some other recognitions by some other services that look at school systems across the U.S., like niche.com is one we've been highly ranked on as well. And we want to share in that success with students and staff. So our past practice has been to, I would send an email to the Okemos High School staff. Mrs. Cermak would celebrate that, the high school principal, with her students and staff, maybe on the announcements, maybe in her news and notes. But beyond that, we also know, and the high school staff recognizes that, again, this just doesn't belong to them. They're a hugely important piece of the puzzle, as are our students. But we believe this is a community celebration. So we also follow up with all of our staff to enjoy the accolade. And an email went out this week from me to every employee in Okemos. All employees got the email with a pat on the back, keep up the good work. And our approach has always been, we've never rested on our laurels. We've never said we've arrived. We've said, that's great, let's move on, and let's try to do even better next year for our kids and community. So that's always been our approach in Okemos. We're proud of the recognition. It makes us pause for a second and say, yep, good game. But now let's get ready for the next one.
Will you do a virtual recognition with staff and teachers since schools were first to close due to the COVID-19 pandemic?
We have a whole staff kickoff assembly every year in August where we host it at Okemos High School auditorium, and we invite every staff member to attend, whether it's a teacher, support staff member, administrator, bus driver, food service worker, custodian, technology worker, everyone. And I'm sure I missed some groups in there, parapros, aides. They're all invited to attend, student supervisors, lunchroom supervisors. And I will recognize them when we get back together and make sure that we celebrate that and give each other a round of applause in person. We've already kind of done it virtually through the email. It would be nearly impossible to get them all on a Zoom to do that, or on a virtual platform. But that will be points of pride shared both at our board meeting Monday night that's coming up, and then when the staff is back together again in August.
Is there anything you would like to say for Okemos receiving this honor as the superintendent of Okemos schools?
I've had the honor and privilege of spending my whole career in the Okemos Public Schools. When I was fortunate enough to be placed as a student intern teacher at Chippewa Middle School, I fell in love with the Okemos community and their care for each other, and how highly they valued the educational process, the trust they had in teachers and administrators, and that the community really was defined in a large part by the school system. And I am just so proud to be a part of the community for the last 24 years. Really represents the best in public education, a community that highly values what we do, holds high expectations for us as public servants, high expectations for their students, high expectations for teachers. And that, to me, is the recipe for success. It's part of our mission statement we talk about all the time, but together, educating with excellence, inspiring each student for life, each learner for life. So it's that together piece that this really represents. And I couldn't be a prouder superintendent to be a small part of that together. We want to also recognize the Hazlet Public Schools. They were ranked very highly as well by U.S. News, and in Meridian Township, to have the two public school systems ranked so highly, I think speaks values about all of Meridian Township as well. And I'm very proud of the relationship that the Okemos Schools has with the Hazlet Schools. We aren't in competition with each other. We look to support each other, remove barriers, be good public servants to each other, to advance public ed. And we want to extend our congratulations to the Hazlet Public Schools as well.
Well, thank you, Superintendent Hood, for joining us today. We really appreciate your time. If you would like to stay up to date with Township news, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and of course, HOMTV.net. I'm Courtland Jenkins. Thanks for watching and have a great day.